Welcome back, guys, of course, to part two of our one-shot adventure. I am, of course, Michael from Ask a Pathfinder, your GM for the evening, as we indulge our Starfinder fix and head through our adventure on Akiton. Now, our intrepid group of heroes, led by their very valiant Captain Marcus, have found themselves in the bowels of the... I will cut you, Karen.
Let me take that opportunity to fix my lighting.
Okay. They find themselves in the bowel of an impending TPK of a nightclub known as the Chokebox. The group were hired by a man named BER to deliver a cred stick which overwrit his debt with an infamous crime lord named Dakar, whom they haven't met yet. After delivering the cred stick to Kajib, his negotiator, they have decided to leave the facility. However, on the way, they noticed that the girl guide who had led them into this place was being captured and drugged into a secret side room by a pair of Vesk soldiers. They pursued and managed to chase them down into a warehouse beneath the very ziggurat of the choke box, where many shipping containers filled with various individuals were being stored for nefarious purposes.
Could you say we successfully diplomatized with the captors?
They diplomatized the captors all over the floor, some on the ceiling. I think there is one survivor, so that's a plus. And of course, Ein, our resident technician, made swift work of the computer system and has discovered the security camera leading into this area as a horde. Well, not a horde, but about 12 or 13 black armored soldiers who are armed to the teeth and led by, of course, Kajib personally, heading straight for the underground facility. What will our heroes do? Yes,
can you block those doors coming in so they don't come here so we can go somewhere else?
That will not be a problem. When they get here? I firstly lock down those doors, signaling that there is a radiation leak in the room that we're in at the moment. I also will trigger the silent alarm within the gambling den itself that someone has begun cheating. Mm-hmm. If that doesn't distract the owner of the casino, I'm not sure what will. Captain.
Okay.
We should leave immediately.
Agreed. Get everyone out of these cages.
Captain, we were here to rescue the one woman. Everyone here will not fit into the elevator.
We'll let them out and the rest is their problem. We can't just turn our backs on people locked in cages. It's just not right, man.
They will not starve to death whilst in the employ of whomever has purchased them. However, if we were to release them onto the streets, they would either succumb to radiation poisoning or starve to death. Very well, Captain.
And they may be killed in his rage. He is like me, filled with pride. But he is not like me. Not controlled.
Okay, so step one, first of all, returning to the computer terminal and beginning his work, you notice that the implementations of the security system that you have put into place have actually successfully worked. You can see that he is looking at his watch and has sent only 4 guards in your direction, and he and the rest have returned to the gambling area.
We should brace for intruders.
Secondly, you've noticed that the doors are sufficiently locked. In fact, you remember a very classical TV show from the yesteryears beyond, where a man would walk through several very large plated doors before he got anywhere he needed to. And you similarly have put down plenty of barricades between yourself and the guards, including the actual ones for a contamination for radiation, which has, again, sent out a signal in the form of an orange and green light that seems to be flickering. You, meanwhile, Kazan, you are approached by the small girl who...
I am Kazan.
Up!
I use telekinetic, not projectile. but it's the one where I can basically use my telekinesis to like lift them up. Be like
Psychokinetic lift, I believe,
That's the one,
or
yeah.
psychokinetic hand. Yep, you basically. She starts to float and she goes wee.
and I slow down a bit.
What are you
Like,
doing?
Go up. I don't know why. Maybe she can see something.
Not experienced with many youngsters.
Me next.
No.
Me next.
Okay.
I lift him up and kind of slam him down. Just
All right. At this point, some of the children approach Marcus and say, "Sir, are you our new owner?"
Are they all children?
Yes.
All
No
the
one
captors are
is-
children.
No one is older than 13 years old. Please, sir, don't turn me into food.
No, I'm not your owner, and I won't turn you into food. You're all children. This really complicates things.
Captain, we need to leave.
You actually
Yes,
look around.
I know
and-
we need to leave.
As you look around, you only notice that there are 4 boxes with children in it. The rest are empty.
Great. Ain, find us social services somewhere. There must be something.
I am a
You
human,
pretend
not
to
a
t-
directory.
You pretend to type the computer, knowing exactly what the answer is, and no. Akiton is a terrible and horrible place, and Al is a terrible and horrible place on the terrible and horrible place. Child services is non-existent. In fact, child services was eaten at some point or another by a large monster.
What
It's
about
funnily
sort
enough,
of-
sister company is Pimps R Us.
Captain, the planet Triaxis would be the closest possible hospitable planet where these children might have a future. It is
Very well, that's
unlikely,
where we'll go
however,
then.
that we will manage to get there, considering it is clear across the system.
Look, everyone, I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say when none of us are going to be comfortable leaving this lot to their fate. We are responsible because we are here.
I wouldn't mind.
I'm afraid that is flawed logic, Captain. We are here because we chose to come here, not because we chose to rescue all of these children.
Which just makes us all even more responsible, since all of these consequences are the result of our own choices.
We did not... We should leave, Captain.
Herd all the children into the elevator.
yep. So,
Quickly!
yeah, this one got like lifted down and be like,
Oh, okay. And they, basically about 24 kids in total pile on to the lift.
I thought you said there was
such a
4.
headache. Such a headache. 4 cases, 4 crates.
4, right.
Crates. 4 kids, 1 crate each. Well, I hope your ship's big. We're used to this kind of space each.
It's good
Put me
you're,
back in
you're
the
small.
all right, so
Oh, such a headache. Such a big headache.
Was there anything worthwhile on lying around, or any of the guys, decapitated bodies?
Yes, indeed. In fact, each of them have what is called Golem Forge armor.
Ooh.
One of them, however, is completely stuffed as it has a giant hole in it. And you find 4 azimuth laser rifles.
oh, you know what?
Captain, I recommend,
Swipe
considering
those.
we have such sufficient child labor with us, they may help carry.
Uh,
Yes, master.
practical,
Sure,
practical.
master!
Everyone
Sorry,
grab
master!
something.
They all grab something. Basically 4 of them grab the arms and legs of the Vesk and are lifting the whole corpse.
Yeah. I'm just gonna lift the corpse. Be like, no.
They are most correct. That will provide food for the 24 mouths, unless you have an alternative supply of food for the undoubted 8-day journey to Triaxis.
Well, we're due a payment from our client for having successfully paid off his debt.
Might I remind you,
There
Captain,
used to be 30 of us.
that
In the
payment
lift, everyone.
will be required to pay for undoubtedly the damage that our pilot is going to cause whilst trying to disengage from this planet.
Not if we leave quickly enough. Come
He
on.
is still drunk.
Only half drunk.
We'll get
You
to
sober
that when
up
we
a
get
little.
there.
Not much.
I will do a final little present for the computer administrators. I will take the financial reports of the casino and just transmit those back to our ship.
Right? You may most certainly do so, and because you have now got root access, it is a simple matter of going A, B, C, D, done.
And then I'll delete them off of this system.
Oh my god.
You
Guys,
perform a full systems wipe. You have root access to nothing now because, well, there is literally nothing in the system.
We should really depart now, Captain.
Yes, everyone in the lift. Is everyone ready? Got everything?
Yeah, we've got everything.
Nobody left behind? Right, let's go. Up.
You know, the evil bastard in me wants the gate to close, and one little girl go to, wait! Get the elevator lift off.
Wait,
I'm not going to do that, though.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, because
I mean,
I'll just use the lift. I'll be like, get up here.
But there's a cage, remember? Like the wall.
Shoot, you're right. So I'd be like,
No!
Okay.
I'm not doing that. I'm going to keep going. Damn it.
No! Until she gets to the ceiling.
There's so much stuff. There's so much more stuff to go in this story, and I want to do it, but I can't. I don't have time. All right, so here we go. As you guys get to the top, you manage to successfully exit the facilities with little to no trouble. Wrangling the 24-something kids seems to be a relatively easy case. They are used to kind of working together in order to try and survive. You actually find that they actually are trying to lure you away from busy areas of the underground dome type area. Do you wish to go with them, or do you wish to leave?
They know the streets better than we do.
Yes, but they don't know where our ship is.
Captain, something to contemplate. Sylvia was clearly owned, or at least the progeny of that trader that we encountered in the market. Would it not be wise to return her to her family? Undoubtedly, the rest will
sold
have
her?
family as well.
Who sold them?
We do not know the nature of the exchange between the families and these children.
Let me just get that image straight in mind. The kids are all scattering in different directions. Did you say?
No. They're all going in the same direction. They're telling you to go with them.
Which direction is that?
Not the way you came, but the opposite direction.
Where are you going?
Up!
Follow them.
It's faster way up.
Captain, in approximately 7.5 minutes, I believe that there may be some disturbance from the choke box.
Why?
I arranged an alternative distraction.
Oh?
Once
Faster.
I was gonna say, once we get to the surface, I'll just make a beeline towards our ship. I got nimble moves, so I can ignore some difficult terrain. So I possibly may make it to the ship before you guys.
I'm gonna look at the group, be like, just
Take the children. I will protect the smaller child.
and take her like with me to those guys that we saw before, those market people.
Good luck looking after the kids.
Yep, you ascend the stairs and you find yourself greeted by the hot burning sun of the Akiton, mid-morning, afternoon now, as it beats down heavily upon you.
Oh no,
of course-
guys, I feel it again! The radiation!
Kazan grabs the small child and heads back to the bazaar. Marcus and Ein, you are escorting the children to the ship. And the ship is, basically Chase is running full pelt in a direction he believes the ship to be in. Chase, could you roll me a survival check, please? Bearing in mind that it is, in fact, a wisdom check.
I don't know if I'd like to.
Just exactly what sort of distraction did you arrange?
I have erased all of their data. Their backups will no doubtlessly be a month behind.
12.
We also
20.
have a copy of all of that data.
Okay. You manage to board your ship and begin the startup sequence chase. As you do so, you actually feel the effects of the alcohol wearing off. You've now obviously spent enough time that it is now flushed from your system.
I don't think that's going to affect me much differently at all.
Look, see, you're already being disagreeable. All right. So, all right. And meanwhile, back at the stall, the man sold you. It's like he sees you and says, "Hey, you come, you buy fruit, yes? Wiggly fruit." Oh, hello, Sylvia. Hi, Daddy.
Leave.
No refunds. She sort of pushes the child off the table.
Oh, I will grab her and I will smack him.
Cool. Ah! Oh, why? Oh, oh.
And just leave. I'm going to like make her float and just I'm running as fast as I can, like just booking it. Yes.
These societies.
All right. Well, you have a small child.
Yep.
Okay. shortly after you've begun the start of. Mascot. You know, I
You
feel
didn't
like
even have to use candy.
I feel like that is now similarity between the Windswift and the Starswift. We must have a small page person.
No. Do not get attached. We are going to hand these off to the next responsible lot of hands we can find.
But she's so cute.
No.
Speaking of
This
your
is a
plan to
mercenary
take.
ship.
Speaking of the plan to take the children to Triaxis, by the way, you can make me a culture check if you wish to.
Everybody?
Yes, if you wish to.
Okay.
9.
This culture
9.
thing again. Nope.
6.
As far as you guys are aware, taking a group of children from the deserts of Akiton to the ice-frigid planet of Triaxis is a fantastic idea. There is literally nothing that could possibly go wrong, even with all the dragon corporations that exist on that planet and the fuzzy blue aliens that survive only because of their layers of fat and fur. These giant cold-blooded lizard creatures, ratfolk, and others will survive perfectly well in their care. So...
Maybe they'll make their own colony. We never know.
Okay.
Oh man.
Moving right along. That, by the way, that was for the Pathfinder fans who actually caught that earlier on. I was with you guys. All right. You find yourselves luring the children onto the ship, which is very easy to do. There's plenty of room.
Cargo hold 1 and 2.
Indeed, plenty of room. In fact, cargo hold 1 will actually suffice for your special needs. As we then get ready for takeoff.
Fantastic cocktail hour at last.
Captain.
You know what to do. I'll be in my cabin.
The fabricator produces you a dry martini, and basically it's waiting for you in your quarters as the ship begins to take off. As it does, however,
Bonsai, I've missed you.
Mm-hmm.
who is in the pilot's cockpit?
The pilot, I hope.
Anyone else?
I'm at the engineering console.
Or on the bridge?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm on the
making
bridge.
sure that the children are as comfortable as possible. Because if
What do you mean? I needed to pee. I left one of the kids in the pilot seat.
oh, it's her.
I've spilt my martini. Not pleased.
Okay,
Mr. Chase.
Ein and Chase, could you both make me perception checks, please?
Only if I pass.
3.
You're good.
13. Sorry.
20.
13. I'm busy looking at my modifier.
Okay. And
20, as I'm standing on the chair.
excellent. 13 and 20. With a 13, you hear a strange sound that seems to be emanating from somewhere in the pilot's den. You don't actually recognize this sound, but it sounds almost like a bing, 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 which seems to slowly increase in progression. Chase, you realize that this sound, bing, 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 seems to be gaining in pitch and intensity the higher your ship seems to go.
Can I roll engineering for 18 to know what that may be?
You may indeed. Or alternatively, as you are sort of looking around your console to try and find the source of the noise, realize that there is a bright glowing number 13 in the palm of your hand that is glowing and flashing in rhythm to the bing sound.
God.
Bing, bing, bing,
Captain, I don't think this is going to be good.
bing, 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 bing.
I'm not sure what's going to happen to me, Captain.
Do you stop trying to accelerate? Do you stop trying to raise the ship's altitude, or do you continue?
Well, if I plateau out, what's happening?
It stops increasing in intensity and stops increasing in pitch.
Okay, I'm going to continue going along. I'm like, Captain, I may have agreed to something before, and I'm not sure how much further up I can go before something possibly happens to my hand.
This is on comms, I presume.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the sound of a cocktail shaker in the background. Just what's the matter, then?
Well, the large golden penis man put something on my hand while in the toilet, and I agreed to race tomorrow. I didn't tell you about this because I didn't quite think about it when I had my sniper rifle out.
Full stop! Full stop!
Oh,
Might I have a look at your hand?
well, yes, of course.
I
Okay.
investigate his hand.
I emerge
Okay,
from my quarters and head for the bridge.
Okay, assuming Chase has some piloting knowledges, he sets it to maintain and hover with the autopilot, which it does so quite reasonably. Just. Meanwhile, as you move towards the cockpit, and of course, Ein begins to look at the device. What is Kazan doing as as you've realized the ship has stopped?
I'm still making sure the children are comfortable.
They seem to be playing with you. They're like, la 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 la, la 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 la. There are 24. There are 24 of them, and you've only got 4 arms.
I'm Kazan.
This is called flanking. La 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 la.
Yeah,
That kills him.
At that point, I'm just like, I'm hearing some of the chatter in the comms. Like, I'm gonna get up and just kind of walk away and just be like,
No, I'm Kazan. I'm Kazan.
and just close the door and head over to the bridge.
Well, we're trapped again. All right, as you continue, as you
Kazan.
why? Okay, as you return, you can basically see that Ein is inspecting the device. You may make me an engineering check to try and figure out what it is.
All right.
Oh boy.
Oh.
So,
24.
All right, with a 24, you can identify exactly what this thing is. This thing is a dermal implant. Dermal implants, of course, are cybernetic implants that fit under the dermal layer of the skin, and they do various things. This one in particular has 2 major functions. The first function is as an identity scanner. When you place it against certain materials or certain panels, it will function like a keycard. The second function is that should you leave a certain proximity of a certain core target, it will detonate.
Yeah.
And when I say detonate, I mean it turns every single red blood cell in a suitable creature into a different substance. That substance specifically nitroglycerin.
give it to me straight, Doc.
You are most likely going to lose your hand.
It's my favorite one.
What were you thinking?
Not much. No, he gambled. I couldn't say no. I mean, I wouldn't normally say no anyway.
Captain, I may be able to remove the device. However, it may take some time. Time that we do not have. When our previous contact discovers what has happened in his compound, the loss of his slaves, as well as his financial records, undoubtedly he will want retribution.
Pounding headache.
Can I potentially try to, let's see, it's dermal. Well, no, they didn't tell me. I will ask him.
What's wrong with his hand?
He has a subcutaneous insertion.
Is it deep in the skin?
It is just above the muscle layer.
Difficult.
Let's just cut it out. Just cut it.
I'd like to, if I can, like, attempt to kind of either use my healing ability to maybe like burn it out, or to maybe slowly just pull it out of his skin.
It would be unwise to attempt any action against the device. They generally are tamper-proof for this specific reason. Any attempt to remove the device without taking the utmost precaution will result in the untimely demise of our pilot, as well as anyone within a small radius.
What are we to do? We have to leave.
Do you have a physical science skill, Ein?
Physical science?
Indeed.
Nope.
You have ruined
Does anyone
cocktail
have physical
hour.
science?
I don't.
Nope. Okay, awesome. Good. Excellent. Because I was going to tell you exactly what the yield of the blast radius was, but you know what? You can
It would
find that
be
out.
significant.
It'll be a nice surprise.
Captain, I suggest that you lower our altitude, however, take us away from the city. We can head out over the dunes. That will at least hinder our pursuers, whilst perhaps, if Kazan, you would assist me in attempting to remove the device before we have to remove the Usoki from our vessel.
I will try.
I suppose this means I'm going to have to fly.
You are the captain.
They've already written him out.
Since we do not have a medical bay aboard this vessel, an oversight I have repeatedly stated, Captain, we will have to perform this surgery in the dining quarters. Infection is likely.
Don't you have any disinfectants, antiseptics,
Yep.
antibacterials?
Have you
And you have a
recently
med
been
kit
into the
somewhere?
dining quarters, Captain?
It's
Well,
okay.
some
I'm a
water.
warrior. I can take it.
And like shaking like hands down, just like,
This is why you don't run into these things. You don't accept deals. So
while the whole time he's saying,
I am Kazan. Kazan, I am Kazan. Kazan.
I know. It's terrible.
You have angered him.
I thought he was happy.
Okay, do you make your way over to the dunes for your particular operation?
So I presume if he's been taken off to be operated on, then I will have to make this flying.
You can do it, Captain!
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping him from flying down. I mean, he's not an invalid.
Right, so
mean-
we go there first,
Sorry.
then you get operated on.
Yeah, I sorry, I do apologize. I should clarify. I meant the character is not an invalid. I'm just sorry.
I mean, you are a pilot in another series that we know.
Well, no, it was more like the sequence of events. Is he going off to get his hand worked on now?
Yes, we're
Or
taking
after
him
we
off.
land?
No. We don't need to land. We just need to not be around the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, what you know is that surrounding the city is a very, very large expanse of the Red Desert. There are large dunes, in fact, so massive that should they actually have been made of rock instead of the silty, soft sands that occupy the desert, it would probably make a sufficient mountain range. You are easily able to hover a sizable ship in amongst the dune, making it very difficult for it to be detected. With the wind-swept sandstorms that are regular and the solar flares that obviously ill-prepared ships find very difficult to navigate around, you can easily find a place to hide.
We do that.
Excellent. Please roll me a piloting check in order to stabilize yourself in the rough terrain, and then roll me a stealth check to find a suitable location to hover the vehicle.
I was like, can I assist him like with maybe the piloting only because like I'm very well like adapted to hills and mountains and deserts and so forth? Maybe.
You may attempt to do so. Yes, you can make a piloting check as well.
12.
I rolled a 3.
All right. With a 12, you seem to manage to get down towards the dunes and navigate it. As you're sort of flying, really confident that, yeah, okay, I can do this. You see Kazar walk up behind you and flip a switch on the ceiling, and you see that your reading light has come on.
I am
Thanks.
The reading light is turned off.
All right, well, I get the Yusoki onto the table in the dining area. Is it still beeping, I'm assuming?
It is now, because you are close to the ground, beeping. Doo, 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 doo. However, you notice that the further out you're going now, it's starting to
increase again.
Yeah, the radius. God dang it.
This may require you to remain absolutely still. The entire crew rely upon your stillness.
Don't worry, staying still and being quiet are my forte.
I have not yet noticed that forte, then.
Well,
him still.
you could just knock me out.
That would be preferable and almost desirable. However, I need you to tell me when I have successfully removed the device from your skin. Underneath the layer I cannot penetrate, I cannot see.
Okay.
Stealth, before we continue, stealth check, by the way. What was that at?
3.
No.
We turn on all the lights!
Kicking up a lot of dust.
Yeah, basically, you're a bit low to the silt sand, and you're basically creating a small radius around you. You don't notice it because you're in the pilot's beden, but you're pretty sure you're confident. You're like, yeah, okay, I got this. This is fine. Look, there's lots of sandstorm. We're good. But you're like the only sandstorm in like a bubble. Meanwhile, back on the operating table.
This'll hide us perfectly.
Hopefully.
I'll say the operating table. I sure hope they're flying and hiding quite well.
That is unlikely. I will use my last hero point to excise this device without triggering it. Is it an engineering roll or a medicine roll or...
A medicine roll.
All right.
And maybe I can use my... where is it? The thing that makes people float. Oh, you know what? I just realized something. I don't have that cantrip. I got confused with something else. Well, that's enough of that power usage.
18 in total.
Well, I'll if there's any way to aid with an engineering, I got 21 for engineering to aid.
You do nothing. You basically go. You basically pick up a screwdriver and say, yeah?
Yeah. But a minute ago, I'm like, don't worry, I'm really good at being quiet and still. Oh,
all right.
Oh, maybe go the other way.
Guy,
that
if you
is
could
not
be so
the wire.
Guy, if you could be so kind as to roll me a d12.
Oh,
12!
Excellent. You take 12 points of damage as failing to anesthetize the patient before you begun your operation. He feels an excruciating pain. Now you need to make me a melee attack in order to try and maintain perfect rigidity during the operation.
Wait,
your
so
DC... Oh, go on.
who takes the 12 damage?
Karen.
Yeah.
Oh, the Yusoki takes 12 damage.
Yeah.
Oh, this will not hurt.
Sorry, my apologies. No, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. It's like, this will hurt you way more than it'll hurt me.
So, can you guys bear with me for a sec? Can you go over what happens once you go at 0 hit points?
You are dying.
Okay.
I can stabilize him. Just
Okay.
No, that's cool because I didn't technically recover my stamina points from the big hits I had, so I'm.
You did not.
No, I didn't. I ran to the ship. I didn't have 10 minutes to do it.
You did. You ran very heavily into the ship.
So I'm at -3 hit points.
That's right. You're not dead.
Sorry, did you say negative 6?
I'm just much quieter.
Okay, here's how this works. When you fall unconscious, when you hit 0, there is no such thing as negative hit points anymore. Instead, every round after you hit 0, there is an excess damage. So if you take excess damage of something, but you don't need to worry about it, you lose stuff. But anyway, once you hit 0, you then start bleeding what's called resolve points every round. When your resolve points hit 0, that is when you are kaputski. So at the moment you are dying, as it were, as the pain basically has seared through your nerve endings and basically knocked you the hell out. You do realize, however, that this is advantageous because he no longer needs to make a melee attack to keep perfectly still. He is perfectly still. As you begin slowly extracting it, I imagine this is the point where the Kasatha, having now helped secure a location with his very irreplaceable skills at piloting, he has made his way to the dining room, where you basically see on the table is Ein standing over the table, hacking into. Do you have it? By the way, do you actually have a medical kit?
I do.
Excellent. Hacking into the hand of the Yosoki with his medical kit. You can see that the Yosoki is in fact dying.
I will go over and stabilize him.
I would prefer if you did not resuscitate him completely.
I will not. I will be sure that he just doesn't die. Otherwise, we could have thrown him out of the plane or ship. I prefer not to, though.
All right, you managed to stabilize him, so he's no longer bleeding out. The pain, of course, has still knocked him out, so he is stable, not bleeding resolve or anything like that. The first part of the actual operation has gone with some reasonable success, which is that you have exposed the engineering parts to the surface of the skin, so that you are able to actually influence it. Now, you have one of 3 options here. Number 1 is you can try to reprogram it by making your computing check. The second is you can try and disable it completely. Now, disabling completely will require an engineering check. The third is you can attempt to remove it completely by continuing the surgery with a medicine check. It is your choice as to which of these 3 options you wish to pursue.
I tap the comm badge on the wrist. Captain, do you want our captives to be our potential captors to know that we have discovered the device aboard the Yosoki, or do you wish us to distract them by sending this device all over the dunes?
I like second option.
In which case, Captain, I would require that you capture us a sandworm.
What? Say again?
A sandworm.
I see your meaning.
The sandworms, or as the locals call them, the deathworms, are large and, I suppose, what's the word, when you don't have bones?
Collagen?
No.
Invertebrate.
That's the one! Invertebrate, a large ship-eating invertebrate, in fact, capable of spewing forth not only fire, acid, but also electricity as well. These things are renowned for shaping the landscape and possibly even being responsible for the reason why there are very little mountains and rocky ranges, having been burrowed through, dug through, destroyed, melted down, and shat out as silty, soft sand.
Thanks, Galactopedia. That doesn't seem like a viable option at this point. Perhaps you could just get rid of it, so that it doesn't blow up the ship for preference.
As you wish, Captain. I will attempt to now disable the device.
Okay, that is an engineering
Little did the
check.
captain know, the robot was actually saying, "I love you."
I love you.
An engineering check of 14 plus 7, 21.
Nice. Yeah.
With a 21, you carefully, sweat dripping down the side of your face, snip a red wire, snip a blue wire, and you head over to the green, and you're about to cut it, and you stop momentarily, realizing, and instead snip the yellow wire, and the light and the noise ceases. It is now disabled, but still attached to the muscle flesh. If, obviously given healing and given time, it will restore and grow over it. Oh, Jesus. Okay, roll a d12 for me, please.
That was inadvisable.
I got it out of him.
Oh no, that's a 9. I didn't mean to.
You are incorrect. You got him out of him. The amount of muscle that has been removed is significant.
All right, how many resolve points do you have, Karen?
4. Good old 4. But you know what I do have? 2 hero points.
Oh, you do? Okay. Do you wish to spend the...
Well, do I wish to spend my 2 hero points, or do I wish to die?
Well, okay, you're not going to... Okay, here's what's going to happen. Basically, you lose 3 resolve and must immediately make a Constitution saving throw. Failing which, you'll die.
That's fine. I'll use my hero points.
Okay, sure. All right. You as he pulls it out, right? The muscles seem to actually rip and tear. You hear the peeling sound of the sinew as it's still attached to the device. However, you see that the muscles seem to flex and rip themselves off the device and sat back in. Miraculously, as though some unconscious part of his body said, "No, that belongs in me." Pulled it back.
And that is an unusual anatomical reflex. You are lucky.
No, don't tickle me there.
He is, by the way, but he is still dying, so every round he is still going to be bleeding.
I'm going to cast Mystic Heal on him.
Okay. As you are, please roll the damage and in chat tell Karen how much he's got. As you begin to wave and conjure the divine energies of the universe into your lay hands, and the wounds begin to sort of mend and flow and roil over each other to stitch itself to pieces. Back from pieces. You obviously have the disengaged chip within your hand. It's still potentially able to be activated, but for the time being, it and the chemical components of this dermal device are safely housed within it, so you've managed to preserve it. Meanwhile, however, on the deck, Marcus, a small light has appeared in the comms desk.
I have a quick question. If you heal more hit points, do you get stamina points back, or is it just hit points?
Just hit points.
Okay.
Okay, what do you do?
Oh, bugger. Oh, we haven't blown up yet. Hello? Is this thing on?
You see this individual.
Right.
You can see that?
Yep.
All right.
To whom am I speaking?
Captain Marcus Wayland of the Starswift.
I am Dakar.
Please
It's
meet
come
you,
to
Dakar.
my-
What can I do for you?
Pulls out a cigarette, starts smoking.
It seems to me that you have some of our property stolen from Khajiib.
We do? I can't imagine what that might be.
He lights up a cigar and sticks it in his mouth.
And Khajiib said you don't like playing games.
I certainly don't. I'm pretty sure I don't have anything that belongs to you.
Let's say livestock.
No livestock. I am currently transporting some waifs and strays to a better life and a more hospitable planet. But as far as livestock or any commodities are concerned, I can assure you my cargo hold is empty. Alas, I could use something to trade.
Oh, well, Perhaps I am mistaken. Perhaps I've got the wrong ship target locked. This one must clearly... You stick it on mute. Yep. So as he does so... Oh, you stuck it on mute.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah. He basically says, "Wow, seeing as the ship isn't clearly yours, and I seem to have been making a mistake, take aim."
Whilst I've got myself on mute, I quickly call the operating theatre, as it were. Is that thing, dealt with yet?
Captain, you will be pleased to know that we have successfully removed and disabled the subdermal implant.
Fantastic!
It was quite a remarkable observation, as a matter of fact. Although Kazan had...
I'm in so much pain!
And throw us into an emergency maneuver upwards in an attempt to escape orbit and target lock.
Excellent. Please make me a piloting check while the rest of the crew can enjoy a reflex save.
Please don't deal more than 8 points of damage to me.
Hold on!
I will have you know I rolled a natural 1.
I, too, rolled a natural 1.
I rolled a 3.
Well, it must be some sort of fate, because I have rolled the natural 20.
We take off as Jan.
All right. As you guys fly backwards into the kitchen area of the dining area, several drawers fling open as you crash into it. Knives and forks and all of that shower over you. You feel pricks and pins over your body as pain shoots through you. Now, let's find out how 2 natural 1s works in a game of chance.
Ouch.
Excellent. Both of you feel a sharp pain.
Sorry.
Ein, you notice that in the confusion, you seem to have dropped a very, very important implant.
I am an error.
As you begin flying upwards through the sky, a familiar and somewhat heart-wrenching noise begins to signal. Ding, 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 ding.
The implant has activated again. We must find it before the captain continues his ascent, or we are all dead.
I'm looking for it now.
Where
You guys can make perception checks. Meanwhile, however, as the pilot is the only person who can actually see what's outside the ship, as you fly up, you actually see a Vescan destroyer, one that has been actually ramshackled back together from many, many, many wars, seems to be in a very close proximity to you. As you begin to sail upwards, what is your ranks in piloting? I hope that you have one.
I have 1 rank in piloting. Total is 2. Oh, no,
Excellent.
wait. I beg your pardon. No, I don't.
You don't have a rank in piloting.
No.
All right. Well, had you had a rank in piloting, it would have given you the ever so important 14 AC that you needed to avoid a nuclear missile, which is now targeting your ship.
Just so you know, I rolled a natural 20 to find it, so I have 28 of finding that thing.
Excellent. It is stuck in Chase's behind.
I'm just having a look at the layout of the ship. How far is the kitchen from like the nearest door to the not kitchen?
Let's have a look. So taking a
5 foot. Kitchen's only 15 foot wide, 20 foot wide.
To say the not kitchen, I mean to like the outside of the ship, as in I'm trying to, if we were to consider throwing it out the ship.
Oof, you've got a good run ahead of you.
Okay.
19 auxiliary airlock, so it's 10, 20, 30, 40 feet.
Yep.
That's okay. And I can ignore difficult terrain as well, 20 feet of it, so...
It's flat corridor.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if shit would have been like thrown around from the, jumping along chairs.
Oh, no. Everything is usually nailed down for these kind of maneuvers. The difference is that you guys have actually flown into the kitchen and actually dislodged the stuff that would otherwise be pinned.
So let's see. I guess I'll yell Chase real fast. Be like,
I am Kavan. I tell him.
He's basically pointing at your ass and saying, I am Kazan! I am Kazan!
Thank you, but this is not the time for that.
I tell him.
The device appears to be attached to your posterior.
Oh, another one. I don't know if I can go through another operation.
This is not an implant. You have merely sat upon the device.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Throw him out of the ship.
Please throw it out of the airlock.
Yeah.
All right. What do you guys wish to do in the in the galley?
Yeah, so I'm making a run to the airlock to throw it out. That's what I'm doing.
All right. Go. So you begin your journey to the airlock. Meanwhile, back upon deck, the pilot sees that the nuclear missile has locked onto their location and is streaming towards them.
Evasive maneuvers.
Excellent.
Where is this destroyer in relation to me? Can I try and lead the missile into the destroyer?
Only if you head straight towards the battery that has launched the missile at you.
Okay.
What?
Okay. All right. Fair warning. You have a very low AC for your ship. I rolled a 4 and hit you.
Is this a plausible thing, given the mechanics of this?
The mechanics of the world flying straight at a missile in hopes of avoiding it is very, very unlikely.
No, I don't wish to fly at the missile. I wish to lead the missile, which is chasing me, into the much larger ship which fired it in the first place.
Sorry. Allow me to reiterate. Here is Descartes' ship. Here is your ship. Here is the missile. Basically flying back up towards his ship to get around it would be flying towards the missile, which is currently locked onto your location.
Gotcha. In that case, I hit the deck. And not literally, of course. In a pilot's terminology.
All right. Down he goes as he ducks, as he places his head between his legs and gets ready to kiss his ass goodbye.
Hold on, everyone.
Another reflex save.
Okay. I will give you a chance. Okay, well, as he shouts out towards you guys do have a chance to brace for impact if you guys want to.
We must get the device out of the vessel.
Incoming missile.
I'm going to keep running. I'll do acrobatics or some kind of check if I can.
Captain, please tell me you have raised the vessel's shields.
Of course. Raise the shields.
Well, it does hit the shield, and it deals a grand total of, let's see, 9, 18, 20 points of damage.
Which quarter did it hit? Port, starboard, aft, or...
As you have angled it, it has hit your port side. So your port side shields have been diminished completely.
Yep.
And you have received 5 points of hull point damage. Now, what this also means is there is now a large radiation light that is flaring and flashing at the in all the quarters. The impact was quite large. Everyone is shaken. Please make me reflex saves. You all gain a +5 bonus for having been braced.
Yep. Now let's get a +2 because of acrobatics. So, so 19. That's gonna be. Double check here.
Yeah, I still fail.
Yeah, 18.
18.
Yeah, I'm running with the Yusoki towards the airlock to make sure.
Anytime the bridge crew would like to take their stations would be awesome by me.
Just dealing with a bomb, Captain.
21.
All right.
Let's see.
Then you handle him. I will try to go for the guns.
As I'm running, I totally screw up the reflex save, so I don't know if you're able to take it off me as I...
Can I
tumble my
catch
ass
the
down.
Yusoki rather than the device? I can just keep running with him.
You may. All right. As you do so, you're running with a nearly bare-assed Yusoki as the pants is torn where the dermal plating is, and you are running straight for the airlock. Meanwhile, of course, Kazan is heading for the guns. They're actually not that difficult to get to. It just depends on which guns you wish to arrive at. I recommend the turrets because the turrets can actually fire into any arc that they wish to.
They also are most powerful.
Okay, so as this happens, the destroyer begins to take position. It does not use this round to fire. Dakar basically takes another long draw. Well, Bunny, do you sure you don't have any livestock? I could really use some.
Captain, just buy us some time.
Sure, I might have some livestock.
Wonderful.
How much do nuclear missiles cost anyway? Just curious.
It depends on the grade of uranium. Those ones sent me back 400 credit.
Only? Wow, that's quite cheap. Well, I wouldn't have thought. I think here was me thinking, well, he must really be pissed if he's throwing expensive ordnance like that around, but really, it's just a bit cheap.
Well, funny you mentioned this, because the shot that I fired at this ship that apparently isn't carrying livestock, well, it was radioactive.
Yeah, notice
And
that.
with that-
There's this big red flashing light over here.
I see.
Don't care much about your livestock, do you?
Well, not at all. For me, they're a dime a dozen. Plenty of people to get up in that desperate position.
Then goodness
people-
sake, what are we doing here then?
But people who steal from me, they're rare. Now, I can help you and your crew out, but you're gonna have to do something for me.
Do we get to the airlock?
Michael, yeah, just while you... Yeah.
Yep. All right. While he's saying that, we then go to the airlock. The airlock gets swung open. What do? Do you throw him in?
Do you have the implant?
It's in his ass.
Yeah, it's on my ass. Grab it out. I'll head back to the cockpit.
All right.
Guy, would you do me a favor and roll a d12, please? Sorry, no, a d8. A d8.
3.
You take 3 points of damage as a nice chunk of your posterior has been removed quite forcefully.
Ooh, okay, I'm moving.
And there's like a tiny little furry bald spot. As you throw it at the airlock, you slam it and you hit the button. As it sort of, you expect it to do. But you realize something very important. You're still on planet. And you're actually at a high enough altitude for the air pressure to be different.
Captain...
It sort of sits there on the deck, looking at you while you look at it.
We must immediately break atmosphere.
Or at least get up into the
Or
next...
rotate the ship 90 degrees, Captain.
I rotate the ship 90 degrees.
Make a piloting check, please.
And Captain, after you've done that, get out of my chair.
10.
10. Yeah, it's a pretty simple maneuver. You sort of... Meanwhile, Kazan, you have found your way to the weapon system. You lower on a turret, which I believe for your ship is
3d6.
the light... Is the 3d6 light particle beam. It is a very sizable weapon, in fact. And as soon as you hop into it, Dakar says, "At least you've got some fight in you, I see."
I don't know if he speaks it, but I'll say
all the fight I need.
Make your gunnery check. Now, gunnery check is basically your D20 plus your gunnery skill, I believe. Let me double check.
Or your ranged attack. It is...
Yep.
It's not gunnery, it's your pilot skill. Or your ranged attack. Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Now, just to throw it out there as well, we've got those modifiers, the +1 to any 2 checks per round as well.
Yeah.
You can use those.
Is someone using that?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Then how much would that add to it?
1.
Just +2 to your attack.
Oh, okay. So I rolled a 15
Mm-hmm.
total.
15 total. That seems to, as you sort of fire, the sort of hits and impacts the shield, but does not seem to penetrate it.
What's the go with the captain's ability to morale boost people doing stuff every round?
Okay, well, we'll get to that. That's Starship Combat. At the moment, you're still engaged, similar to planetary vehicles. You're working in combat phases that work similar to initiative.
Okay.
Once we get to that position, we'll sort of, we'll go get
Everyone
to that.
needs to be at their stations for that to work. Right now, I'm flying the damn ship.
Yep.
Get up here!
So, at this point, Dakar locks on another weapon. But at this point in time as well, could I get everyone to make me a fortitude save?
Oh,
That's
dear.
right. It's going to be great. Oh, another natural 20. Hey. Why
You're
did
good.
I have that for firing?
8.
That is not good. You have contracted radiation sickness.
12.
Also have contracted radiation sickness.
Oy.
Pick me, please, for that. I'll have one of them.
Okay, you have one of them. Okay. Basically, radiation sickness is, it's not too bad. You will eventually take constitution damage as we proceed onwards. But for the time being, you are just simply infected, or afflicted, as it were. The next stage, the Dakar basically says, "Really? You want to shoot at me?" Sort of starts pressing buttons. You basically see another missile sort of slide into the massive missile silo that's on the side of his destroyer.
I won't let you have these children.
I don't give a shit about the children. I'm out of here.
Jumps out of the airlock. All right, Captain Marcus, what do you do?
Well, we're mid-conversation with this guy where he was just about to offer me something, strangely.
Yes. Look, as I said, I'm not interested in the kids. You can keep them for all I care. Hell, they're probably all dead already.
Yes, well done.
What I need from you is someone with enough balls to actually pull off something that I think I could make worth your while.
I'm listening.
There's a creature that some drow are taming in the atmosphere. I need someone willing to go up there and take it out of my territory. You do this, I don't blow you up, or your friend who apparently has the little dermal plating thing that Khajiit likes to do.
Had, hopefully. Okay, allow me a moment to consider.
You have 10 seconds.
Done.
He sort of turns off the comms.
It's 10 seconds all I need to get to the cockpit.
Yes, you have already arrived at the cockpit. You guys are all on comms. You are basically charging up your cannon for your next shot, and
I am moving to engineering section to restore shields.
Which way, boss?
Which you are actually next
good.
to, so it's very easy for you to do.
Captain, you need to turn your comms on.
I jump into the captain's station, relieved.
All right, acrobatics into the pilot chair.
We don't need
All
to
right.
take deals from monsters like him.
No, we don't, but we just need to take the deal long enough for him to stop shooting big nuclear missiles at us.
Which
All right.
direction do you want to fly?
Away.
Keep
Excuse me.
keep
At
us,
this point, we are going to engage in Starship Combat. Now, allow me to explain Starship Combat to everyone here. Basically, similar to regular combat, it works in turn sequences where obviously your ship acts, their ship acts, yada, 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 as you would imagine for a basic game. However, it works in 3 phases, where all ships involved in the combat actually resolve their turns during that phase. The first phase is the engineering phase, allowing those engineers who are within the engine room to perform a series of actions. I believe know exactly what you are capable of doing because it is on page 220, if I'm not mistaken.
297 for engineering.
Oh, 297 for engineering?
Well, it helps, but 322 is the actual page number.
Okay, yep, 322 then.
Same for captain's orders.
Yep, okay, cool. So, basically, the engineer is capable of doing things such as diverting power to provide bonuses to the other member of the crew, holding pieces of the ship together, fixing it, and the likewise. You then have the Helm Phase, which is the second phase, where your science officer and your pilot can act. Your science officer can do things like scan and target systems and divert the shields, and your pilot obviously has the ability to move your ship. The third and final phase is, of course, your gunnery phase, where your gunner is able to fire upon enemies in sequence. The captain is a very rare breed because the captain is able to actually act in any of the phases, functioning as a buff or debuff to the enemies and allies in the combat. So, beginning, of course, with our engineering phase, Ein, our engineer, is working away on a very large beryllium core engine, which is actually supporting a pulse green power core. It whirs and hums with life, and it actually seems to be glowing a lot brighter than usual due to the ambient radiation levels flowing through the ship.
Captain, I believe our vessel is irradiated. I am attempting to restore shields on the port side of the vessel. I would encourage you to avoid being hit in the future.
That's what I'm working on at the moment. My 10 seconds are up, probably.
Okay, please make your engineering check.
I did.
It'll be after this.
I made it by 1. I got 14. My DC is 13, if I get my maths right.
Ooh. Well, you thankfully managed to restore a portion of the shield, 5%
7.
in fact, of the PCU rating.
Correct.
Yep.
7.
Yep, so the port shield now has 7 shield points to protect your vessel. Moving from the engineering phase, we then go to the other ship's engineering phase, which they basically sit there and go, well, as our ship is perfectly fine and the captain doesn't need help. On the other hand, we then go to the Helm Phase. Now, the Helm Phase begins, of course, with the pilots making a piloting check to determine the initiative order. The person who scores highest actually goes lower in the initiative order. The reason being is it allows the lower pilot, or the lower score on the pilot, to be forced to go first. And in turn, those that follow can react to their actions. So, Garen, Chase.
Okay, I rolled 18, and I plus my piloting, which is 8, so 26.
Plus 1 because of the ship.
27.
Yep. With a 27, you are most certainly the faster of the pilots, and you are able to act in response to them. Now, on their turn, what they have done is they are repositioning the front of their ship so that the front weapons are facing in your direction. Which they do so with relative ease as they angle in the one spot. However, doing so is a very wide and large maneuver, which will give them a -4 to their AC for the remainder of the turn.
So where they're turning towards us, what position are we? What are we looking at?
Basically, they're facing you. At present, you're facing upwards, and you are in front of them. So they're on your port side.
Okay. I'd probably recommend to the pilot, maybe, like captain, maybe we kind of that way. But your call, boss.
Try and keep us steady at the moment. I am in the midst of negotiations.
Give me a good shot.
You mean steady as in full speed, or steady as in stay here?
Oh, full speed.
Oh, good. Okay. I will go full speed, and if I understand piloting, would it be better to be able to dodge stuff to kind of like pull off to the right, so we're kind of going more?
Yep, you can most certainly do that. You basically angle upwards, you accelerate, and you begin to curve around, traveling at full speed. Which you can see the other vessel is sort of, the weapons are still trained on you as you accelerate. Which then, thankfully, brings us to the gunnery phase. Now, the first of the gunnery phases, they do not seem to open a battery of missiles and whatnots at you. It is now your gunnery phase.
Okay. That's
+1.
Okay. +1? Okay, so that's 17.
Yeah, 17 will hit with its -4 from having just rotated and not really moved. Your weapon's target fires true and deals a substantial amount of damage.
Let's hope. Come on. Oh, come on. So 10.
10. 10 points of damage strikes the shield, and upon striking the shield, does not penetrate through the thick Vescan armor.
damn.
You're actually fairly sure
Mhm.
that the ship can wear probably one more of those. The shield can probably take another one more of those blasts, judging from the amount that you've blown up.
So was that its? That was its right-hand side.
That was yeah. So basically, you've moved up and around. So that's its starboard. Yeah, starboard side.
Okay.
All right. At this point, the comms become live, and Dakar sort of looks at you.
Hi.
Is the video still on the pilot seat though, or is it going to the captain's seat?
It's more like just the pilot. That you can actually see every single station actually does have access to the comms if the captain will allow it. And Dakar basically says, "Goodbye." And
My God, you're ugly.
And puts out the cigar, and the comms shut down. As we go to the engineering phase.
Captain, we cannot face that vessel head-on. Their armament and shielding is far superior to ours. Remember
Yes,
when I
I was
informed
trying
you
to talk.
as to the poor quality of our vessel? I was not being hyperbolic.
Yes, well, if you could get as much power out of the engines as is feasibly possible, we need to disengage from this fight and get the hell out of here.
Understood. I'm rerouting power to engines as we speak.
I feel like we could take him down.
Oh,
Get me in there with them.
lots. The ship gains +2 speed.
Okay, cool. So the ship speed was originally at 10. It is now at 12 for this particular round. The engineering phase on their side, you can see that the ship's shields seem to be trying to power up on the starboard side, but seem to have failed quite spectacularly. You then see that power seems to be being diverted to their missile weapons. You can see this clearly on the sides of the ship. All right, going to the Helm phase, piloting checks to determine which initiative order we go in.
I use this moment to encourage my pilot to fly better.
You may do so.
Are you shouting or are you cajoling?
Yeah, are you asking him nicely or not?
No, I'm being very encouraging.
16 plus 8, 24, plus your thing is what, 2?
Yes.
26.
All right, with a 26, you actually go lower on the initiative or higher in the initiative, I suppose is the better way to go. So you can actually pilot first. What do you wish to do?
Full burn into the atmosphere, I guess.
Okay, you continue on the same trajectory, burning straight upwards into the atmosphere. All right, the other pilot...
Does it, just quickly, is it faster going completely straight, or can you still turn without taking any loss of movement?
It depends on the arc of your turn. Like, if you're actually traveling a fair distance and you arc very slightly, then you're fine. But if you're kind of trying to do like a 90-degree turn, you're actually going a lot slower.
So he was there originally, and we were here, and we've kind of went up there, and I think I'll continue to try and follow that curve. So we're going up like right directly behind up them, like in that gentle same curve.
We're still in the atmosphere.
All right, you watch as the dreadnought basically flies upwards, basically because you're heading in that direction. It flies in that direction, and as it does, it performs a massive arc, which seems to almost make like a corkscrew motion as it ascends. Now, as it's doing so, you are now facing its starboard guns.
Okay.
As we then go into the gunnery phase, of course, starting with Master Kazan.
I wish I could put like some mystical like juice into these bullets.
Just +1.
Well, +2 because we got the +1 to 2 checks every round.
It's 8.
So it's irrelevant.
No.
Well, your particle beam does not seem to be able to handle the corkscrew maneuver of the quite large vessel, and your blast flies off and strikes the sand below, leaving a massive exploded hole in the ground. Meanwhile, the missiles are trained and locked on you. So while you have a sizable amount of distance, the targeted missile launches straight up, and then it redirects and begins heading in your direction. Now, the way that targeting weapons work is they are against the ship's TL or targeting lock. Every round, they proceed to follow that ship at its destined speed. They each round need to continue making their attack against the targeted lock, at which point, once they've caught up, they impact and deal a fair bit of damage.
Our target lock number is 14.
Yes, it is.
And can I add to that by doing like the stunts, the evasion kind of things?
You can with I think evasion. No, actually, I think evasion improves your AC.
AC and TL.
Oh, it is both. Yep. So then you
Yeah.
can then on the piloting action. Yes, you can use evade if you wish to.
And that doesn't stop us. That doesn't slow down our speed, though, does it? Like
no, you technically maintain trajectory and speed.
Cool.
Okay. Oh, actually, I don't think you move. Do you?
No, it says the ship moves up to its speed. You can turn as normal, but it gains a +2 bonus to AC and TL until the start of the next turn. To perform the stunt, you must succeed piloting DC 10 +2. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Cool. So you can move at your speed. All right. So top of the phase, we're in the engineering phase. Back to Ein.
How are those shields, Ein?
I will restore the remainder of our shields. However, this does not mean that you may now allow them to be hit again, Captain.
Yeah, that pilot.
Oh.
No, I wasn't listening.
All right, so the DC is not very high, and with +7, +8, it's really easy to get to. So our shields are back up to full on the port side.
Yeah.
Okay. Shields are now at full power as you continue upwards. We then go from the engineering phase to your helm phase. Piloting checks, please.
6 +2 +8 10 plus the 1 17.
You are winning in this initiative game as they then need to proceed first. Now, they continue to follow the arc up towards you, so then now the front of their ship is facing you, as you have now broken atmosphere. All right. As they've broken atmosphere. What do you wish to do?
I think we're going to try and evade while flying at full speed. So we're just evading.
I would suggest we go to drift as soon as we can, Captain.
Agreed.
What's drift?
Hyperspace.
Drift is like
warp.
hyperspace.
Oh, how do we
Start
do that?
calculating the coordinates to an escape vector.
Well, is what
Okay,
you would
so-
be saying to your science officer should you have
Yes.
had one.
So, just so you know, the DC I rolled for the maneuver, I got 15 on the dice plus the 8. So we're well into the 20s. And plotting courses, is that what the pilot does, or is that the science person then?
Science officer.
Science officer.
I haul myself out of the command chair. God damn it! We need more crew.
We have 24 in the cargo bay.
Long lead time on the training.
It's a piloting check that you're going to have to make.
Oh boy.
It will be significant depending on where or what your jump is going to be.
Okay, I'm going to try something a bit fun.
We're trying to jump to Guy's house right now.
Captain, perhaps I should attempt the calculations. No offense,
Perhaps so.
but you are not adequately skilled.
Be my guest, please.
No time for that.
Okay. So
You can do it from where he is.
let's see how much I ruin this.
Oh boy.
So, bam.
Bam.
It is
I
still.
see.
There it is.
There we go.
Oh.
There we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So over here you can see your vessel, and over here you can see the Vesk destroyer on board. So basically, this is the direction you're currently facing and heading, and that is the direction that they are facing and heading. That was the piloting initiative. So, which way do you wish to go?
Well, so what's the go with this warp phase thing? Like, how does it work?
I will perform the calculations. Once the calculations have been performed, we can jump to drift. Jump to drift.
In the meantime, keep putting as much distance between us and them as possible.
Okay, so I've already rolled the mid-20s for the evade, and we're just going to continue flying away as fast as we can. Can I roll a check on what their ship is and how fast they can move, so I know if we can actually outrun it?
I think I got the science officer thing again because that's for
That is indeed a science officer thing. All right, so
Cool.
you have.
There's something with my operative. I get something that's a bonus to knowing different ships and stuff. I've seen it somewhere in my thing.
Well,
There is
well,
something that you've seen on your thing at some
Yeah.
time.
I will find it.
Oh jeez.
I mean, what would be the roll on, like, that doesn't matter. Okay, sure, I'm just flying away as fast as I can.
Okay, because they are within a certain distance of you, they unleash another missile at you.
Good.
Now,
At this point, I'm going to take the opportunity to taunt them.
Excellent.
Your
Sure,
father
excellent.
smells of elderberries.
Excellent. You may do so. Please roll me a intimidate check, I think, or a bluff
Yep,
check.
intimidate.
Yeah. And I think we have an additional plus to the AC because of.
Ha! 18.
18. With an 18, you manage to taunt them, so they will take a -2 penalty, which means that one of the missiles flies off into the distance and detonates helplessly. However, the missile that was chasing you previously collides with you.
Did it beat? Wait, I'm just curious. Did it beat a 16?
What's that?
Because he did add +2 to the evasion. I was curious if it beat a 16.
Oh, it most certainly did. He rolled a 15.
Oh.
What?
Yep.
No, we're talking about my roll. No, I rolled a 15 plus the 8 plus the 2. I said I had 15
Okay.
on the dice.
That is 22 damage as a massive explosion.
Captain, we cannot sustain firepower of that magnitude. To cross genre.
Cannot do it, Captain.
This is on the aft shields, correct?
This is on the aft shield. So
Aft shields
with
at
22
0, Captain.
I demand you bring those shields back up immediately.
It's not the shields you should be
Right.
concerned with. It is the hull. It is failing.
All right. So how much damage did the hull take?
13. It's now on in total.
All right. Well, we then go to the next exciting piece, which is critical threshold. When a ship's hull has sustained sufficient amount of damage, a critical threshold has been hit, and a roll is made for one of the systems to begin failing. In this particular instance, the failing area is going to be I think our engineer should roll this. Engineer, would you be so kind as to roll a percentage?
49.
The theme.
What was that?
It is.
40.
Sorry, I just remembered. It's the theme. That's what I was talking about. Never mind. Sorry, I'll shut up.
49?
Yes, sir.
Well, guess what, Freddy? You've got
I
your
knew it.
wish.
I called it.
As the weapon systems have begun glitching. Now, because they have begun glitching, they have taken, yes, indeed, anyone using one of the weapons is taking a -2 penalty until something is done about the braking system. All right, so that is 13 hull point damage. I will bear that in mind. As we then go back to the gunnery phase of course, Master Freddy.
To be fair, that's the best thing that could have gotten damaged because they're trying to get out of here. Totally fine. Come on. So is it only -1 because I'm still getting the +1?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's 12.
Come on, you can do it.
Another pulse blast fires from the vessel, something like this.
The guns have taken too much damage.
It's very large. That's a very large blast. Let me make it a bit more accurate. Pew!
That's the
Did you like the special effects? You know, I got these
Spared
from
no
Lucas
expense. Spared no
Yeah,
expense.
spend no expense. Okay, definitely right on the no expense bit. Basically at this point, it flies completely off kilter and has no impact. As we then go back to the engineering phase, you basically see that steam and heat begin to rise off several of the coils surrounding the weapon systems. You see red flashing lights and sirens blaring.
Captain, I would recommend that we change bearings so that we reveal a different shielded section of the vessel. I cannot restore shields and plot a navigational course at the same time.
Why not?
I do not have enough appendages.
Very good. Put us on a
All right.
turn to starboard, if you would.
My navigation check to plot an astrogation course is 23. 17 plus 6, 23. I am plotting us a course to the Diaspora asteroid belt.
Okay. Now the Diaspora asteroid belt is
2 sectors away. We're fairly familiar since that's where the captain's from.
Yep. Okay. So it'll take you a little bit to get there, but you believe that if you are able to break free, you would definitely be able to outrun it before it regained your targeting. Hopefully, in the near vicinity. Okay. As you begin plotting your course, you basically, ignoring the red sirens, you basically turn the alarms onto mute with your kind of like off hand. As we then move to the Helm Phase. The Helm Phase, again, you guys out on your panels can see the glowing lights.
Starboard, if you will, Mr. Chase.
Could I get a perception check from you, Karen?
Aye. Which side was starboard again, sir?
That's the result of his perception check.
That's very true.
It is
Okay.
right. I am Curzon.
You want a perception check?
Yes, please.
21.
21. While you have no science officer, you have one console that is relatively unmanned. However, you glance over it and realize that with the previous blast, radiation levels are increasing dramatically. So, that is what you've basically noticed that. So, piloting check for initiative order?
I got the 2. The captain's he did his taunts. There's no 2 from that, is there? On the plus side, guys, because I totally forgot about my theme, it actually gives me a +1 to piloting as well, and it reduces the DC of culture checks for me to know other vehicles and stuff like that. So, can I roll a culture check as well on the other vehicle? No, never mind. I rolled a 6.
Well, no, with a 6, I can tell you exactly what it is. A long time ago, in a land far, far away, basically, When the Vesk first came into what's known as the Pact Worlds, they are a warlike race that just sought battle wherever they went to. The destroyers were a class of the first types of starships that came upon from the Vescan Empire. Many have been decommissioned and taken to areas to be scrapped and broken down for resources. Such places such as Akaton, in fact. You can tell that this particular Vesk has some relative pride for his heritage and the early days of the war with the Pact World. Now, the Vesk are at peace with the Pact Worlds, and that's not really an issue. However, being an underworld boss, he feels that having the destroyer to ride around in is really, really good. Your culture check also tells you that the history of the destroyers is that while they were very crude and relatively slow, now by slow I mean it, despite its size, which is almost 2 or 3 times yours, and engines twice as big, is actually about as fast as your vehicle, which is a lot more lithe and agile. Its weapon systems were second to none during the age of its battle, with missile silos, plasma cannons, cryoblasters, and many, many more tools at its disposal. It was basically used as the Armada flagships.
So, if we're talking about going into the warp space thing, and you said we have to disengage, how are we supposed to get away if it's the same speed as it, pretty much? Am I missing something?
Well, there are a couple of things you can do here. The first thing you can do is what I believe is called, let me just take a look at the pilot actions before I talk out of my hiney.
I think I almost need a smoke too, John. Even though I don't.
Okay. All right. What you can do is you can use maneuvers like flyby, flip and burn.
But that's not giving us distance away. That's not increasing our distance. That's just.
Well, no. Because what this does, right? No. It forces them to be able to try and match your maneuvers, which they cannot do readily because their turning circle is a lot larger. So if you literally turn your ship around and use a flyby maneuver, they have to actually move 4 extra squares to make a turn, which they can't do.
Or they could just blast with their rear guns right at us as well.
That's also true. Alternatively, what you can also do here is you can perform several other stunts. One stunt I believe you can pull is the...
Yeah, I've been looking at the stunts, but there's not much there, other than the evade. There's nothing that increases the speed.
The evade one is one as well, but don't forget you can also increase the speed with the help of your engineer. And then the warp speed, how do we have to be disengaged from combat before we can do that? Not at all. You've already begun the process, which will take 10 rounds.
Oh, well, okay.
Wow.
All right, Captain, which way?
Hard starboard.
Okay, I do that as much as he wants, as fast as he wants.
Okay, you guys can actually see the map that's there, so tell me where you want to go.
Away.
We want to position ourselves with the starboard side of the ship facing the guns to mitigate any fire coming in.
So I rolled a 10, but I've got the +9 and the +1, so we've got 20 on any DC check to do the maneuvers.
Is this for evade?
Yeah, well, I guess there's not any other thing really worthwhile doing while we're running away, so yeah.
Okay, yep, you have successfully evaded, which is fine. Let's see. Yeah, come on. Oh, right, what am I doing? That one there. Okay. You have managed to gain a little bit of distance.
We also want to face a more heavily shielded part of the ship towards the incoming fire.
So...
Oh boy.
Okay.
Captain,
so
I have calculated our drift time to the diaspora as being 12 days.
12 days?
What?
There you go.
Very well.
I would reiterate this vessel is not suitable.
All right, there you go. That is your new position. Assuming you wanted the starboard side facing the ship. Okay, so we then go to the gunnery phase, where of course they get to fire first. Let's see, you are within range of one of their heavy cannons.
Am I able to do some more taunting?
Yes, you may. Please do so.
I need to go pee again.
Oh, actually, sorry, no, you can't, because it actually affects their. Because you did it during the last weapon phase, didn't you?
Yep.
So it is actually still in effect from your last time, but you can only affect one ship once with a taunt. But it is still in effect.
Gotcha.
All right. Laser pistol. Oh, that does not do anything kind. It just fires off. However, there are multiple gunners aboard this ship, and they will also fire. And this one will also miss. Oof, that one, however, will land a critical hit.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Don't worry though, because it is one of the smaller of the cannons. As you take 11, 16 points.
Shields
of
collapsed on
damage.
starboard, Captain. Hull.
That was good while it lasted.
And how much damage did the hull take?
1.
1. Okay, that is just enough to cause you another problem. As critical hits also activate critical threshold, would our engineer be so kind as to roll a percentage to determine what particular systems are malfunctioning?
7%.
7%. Okay, that is not stellar, as your life support systems begin to fail as it starts to glitch.
Gotta fix that.
Life
Life
support
support
is
system-
failing.
Life support systems specifically affect the captain's actions. So the captain now takes a -2 penalty on all of his actions. All right. You can basically hear the whistling and hissing sound as the air is basically being vented through several hull breaches. Nothing that obviously poses any imminent danger towards you, but some... Hi, Karen. Thirsty?
No. Captain, those sounds aren't that bad, are they?
Okay. There's some strange... You feel like some of the cooling systems have begun to leak vital fluids in the vicinity of the cockpit.
I think it's the pilot is leaking vital fluids.
Yep. Okay, we then go to the engineering phase. Engineering phase.
What? Do I get to shoot?
Oh, sorry.
Am
My
am I
bad.
too
No, you don't get to shoot. How dare you suspect that you get to shoot?
Okay.
Yeah, no, I apologize. Kazan, yep, fire away, I guess.
Yeah. I was wondering if before Kazan takes a shot, he's just going to he's going to take a moment to actually bring all of his hands together, do a quick almost prayer. Like the top two they form like this, and the other ones they go for kind of an oval shape as he sits and thinks, and he's trying to use mental concentration. Just
Arcana Sash. I know that I have abandoned you long ago, but we need to protect these children, my shipmates. We are in the righteous here. I am a priest of a dead religion, but I am still here. I call to you for aid. Get us to safety, please.
and now I'm just gonna make a shot. And that's a 3. No, wait, it's a 4.
All right.
But even
As you seem to fire the completely in the wrong direction, you realize that that 3D combat is not your thing. You haven't realized that there is actually an altitude as well as a side and depth perception, and you have completely and utterly miscalculated your blast. We then go to the engineering phase.
Now, it's not clear. You said it takes 10 rounds to jump to the drift?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to spend all 10 rounds doing the calculation?
No.
All right.
You've already begun the startup sequence, which is perfectly fine.
Okay, then
You
I
are
will
capable of other things.
increase power to the engines on a roll of 20-something, 8 plus...
Yep.
Yeah. So
And
speed is increased by 2.
all right, engines were to life. Piloting checks, please.
I 16 plus 10, 26.
26. Okay, he goes first, and you notice that immediately the ship. Come back here.
He's
Yeah,
running away. Let's not let him escape.
No, let's let him escape.
As he begins to retreat. Could I get both the pilot and the engineer and the gunner to make me perception checks, please?
I think they've. Hopefully they haven't dropped something. 13.
Oh wait, actually, that bomb. I have that would
17.
be 22.
22.
What happened to those nuclear bombs he said he had?
He launched one, but it missed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the one. All right, for those of you who can't see this thing, Guy, what did you get for yours?
17.
17. And Freddie, yours 20-something?
22. Yep.
Okay. You catch a glimpse of a creature. Actually, I feel like that's too small. So let me actually pull up a picture of this thing properly.
Captain, our aft and starboard shields are depleted completely. Hull is at 48%. I would suggest we evade as fast and as soon as possible. The drift calculations are complete.
Absolutely. Take us out of here.
We get the idea.
those,
It's a big creature.
How are those atmosphere leaks?
Those are not yet contained. It will take me some time to repressurize that part of the vessel.
Okay.
Is it going to be safe to go to drift in that condition?
It is inadvisable, but given the circumstances, it is a better preference than staying here with the vessel.
I agree completely.
That is something similar to what you see. Basically, a large bestial creature that appears to be on its back, inky black with what appears to be glowing starry motes.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you can see its shape and silhouette moving through the darkness of space. The odd bit here is that you can't actually, obviously you are in the vacuum at this point in time. And it seems to be heading in your direction. So we're going to keep the same initiative, where you guys get to act first. However, your pilot has yet to see this strange and mysterious creature.
I'll quickly call out to him. Just
There is a creature to your starboard. Pilot, look at it.
oh no, but he hears.
I am Kazan. I am Kazan.
Yes, I know. Thank you there, buddy. I think we scared him away. But
There is a star ray off of the starboard side. I suggest you avoid it. It'll be attempting to eat our energy.
Oh, holy Jesus, Kazan, why didn't you say that?
Which Ion hears.
I might kill him.
Well, let's just fly fast as we can with our speed. We'll do evade because, again, it's the best thing we can do while there's nothing else we're doing. And we'll just veer a little bit off to the left so we don't lose any speed and as fast as possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
We're moving 12 now.
So yeah, if you're off to the left, we're leaving both of them behind us, and
All right. So which way are you going?
so forward and left without losing speed, but as much left and as much forward as we can.
Forward. Oh, hang on. I need to move.
And we can move 13.
Okay, move forward and
Oh,
left.
snap. That's cool. We're getting out of here. Let's go.
Okay, and 13. You said.
Could this not be implemented in Roll20 quite easily?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't think they've got a hex grid type thing, but yeah, you could try that. All right, so you've started basically making some sizable distances between you and the creature. The creature, however, seems to move quite quickly.
Oh, damn.
Why us?
It doesn't seem to catch up with you, but you can basically, you know what? Half of this stuff is actually supposed to have a science officer, and there is none. So it's kind of like you're missing out on all these little communications, these radiation signatures, the whole bunch of stuff.
We will hire one in due course.
Yeah, yes, in due course. You know, if you guys in the audience actually know of an able-bodied science officer that happens to be floating in the blackness of space, dial in right now at 1-800 oh god, we're going to die. That is 1-800.
I make you HR officer for the ship. Make it do. So
You have room for at least one more.
Yeah. Graham starts calling up. All right.
My people.
Ah. Hey, Graham, who are you talking to?
I gotta go.
Okay. All right. So the manta ray has progressed forward. We then go to obviously the captain. I assume you're still holding your action till you want to basically jump in. The gunnery phase.
Ah, really? Oh, wow.
Shoot it dead. Don't shoot at it.
I actually don't want to shoot at this thing.
you'll make it mad.
Like, I refuse to shoot it. I see it actually as a sign from Akatasha. He's given us...
Whatever, it's a sign. Just don't shoot it.
I will not.
Very well. Your coils have ended up are halfway charged now.
Divert weapon power to shields.
Roger that, Captain.
All right. During the engineering phase, you can basically see there's hissing, there's whirring, there is oil over the floor. You see the beryllium core begin to actually sort of start rattling. Basically, a starship shouldn't rattle, but there is a very prominent rattling sound coming from your main beryllium core.
Captain, there is a rattling.
Don't worry.
Don't worry about it, Captain.
She'll hold together.
Captain, let me show you my new rattle that I just made up today. A ship's gonna explode.
Kasatha with 4 turntables.
Yeah.
All right. Engineering phase. Ein, what do you want to be doing?
Engineering, I just increase our speed by 2 as usual.
Excellent. Make your engineering check.
Natural 1.
A natural 1.
You blow up the engine.
No
I
amount of
stall it.
instruction's gonna fix that one.
That rattling sound continues until it finally stops. At your feet, you see what appears to be a small bulkhead pin. And suddenly, a massive rush of air as it is sucked clean out into space. The explosive decompression deals to 7 points of damage to you as you are sucked straight upwards towards this breach. You can make me a reflex save if you wish to. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, you could always just...
Reflex save of not natural 20. 16 plus 4.
16 plus 4 is fantastic. You basically reach down, you manage to grab hold of one of the nettings that is usually used to keep tools and materials propped up against the wall during space travel.
Captain, we have a problem!
I can see that. Lots of red lights flashing everywhere. What the hell is happening?
There is
you look at your console and you can see a camera into the engine room where you can see that your friend is basically hanging on by quite literally threads.
Yeah, I immediately leave the gunner room. I'm gonna try to go help.
You, however, do not know of this.
I don't see it.
I
There's
leap
not
out
the
of my seat.
Oh, it's for the captain. Okay.
If there's any sort of handy portable respirator packs that I can dramatically rip off a wall as I rush to his aid.
You sort of run to where you know to be a particular panel.
I'll be like, aim. You're doing good.
And you try frantically to open the actual panel. You get so annoying. And then it cracks open, and this breathing apparatus, which is basically like a snorkel almost, with two little tiny air crystals that are crushed into the side of it. You basically grab hold of two of them, and you head down in that direction.
Captain,
you will arrive there.
I do not require assistance, Captain. Do not risk your own life to enter engineering. We are fine. Engage the drift drive as soon as possible.
I can do the drift drive. I don't
Silly heroics from you now.
At this point in time,
no man, no human gets left behind.
Depending on how strong the delusion of the human is, obviously one of the things I want our audience to know is that androids, not that we have an android, androids actually don't need to breathe. So while the captain's actions are admirable, it is definitely proving that at heart, Ein is a 100% human. He has documentation to prove so.
It does not prove it. My lungs have been replaced with respiratory tracts.
Okay, after the engineering phase, the Helm phase, the captain has run and made a break for it. The pilot has his chance to act if he wishes to.
While no one's looking, I'll sneak a little bit of the hit flask that I had, and
make a forward save.
16 plus 2, 18.
You are super tiddly, but it is working for you. Gain a +2 bonus on your dexterity saving throws for the next 4 rounds. So all dex skills, checks, and saves, including piloting.
I haven't had this much fun in ages.
This is awesome!
I'm going to continue to evade and just rock and roll. 18 plus 10, 28. Oh, did you say there's a +2 as well? 30.
30 seconds to drift.
Okay.
Take us to drift as soon as the drives are enabled, mister.
5 more rounds.
Oh, look, I'm racing.
You do so as the creature continues its pursuit. You use what is effectively the pilot's equivalent of a rearview mirror to see its giant gaping mouth open. As it does so, you can see that the interior appears to be almost like it's sucking in light and energy. The actual drift trail of the particle beams that are emitting from your engines seem to fall into an inky blackness within its gullet. All right.
It's okay. I cracked my neck. I am ready for this next round.
All right. We then go to the gunnery phase.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like even I could tell, like myself, since it's actually sucking in light and energy, that it's like it's not really gonna help. So
I'd like to run over and try to help the Ein back in. Try to get him back inside.
All right, you head over to the engine room. You realize that the airlocks are now sealed because of a hull breach within the engine room. You bang on the door.
I can't talk because I'm in the vacuum, right?
You can talk.
All right. Captain, I have a solution for this creature. However, it will require us to return to the planet.
What? Speak sense, man.
If we eject the core, the creature will most likely go after the core. It is a power-hungry, space-voyaging entity. Without the core, we will not be able to make drift. However, we should be able to return to the planet's surface using the gravity of the planet to effectively bring us in. Once
That's
there,
not exactly ideal.
Alternatively, we will be consumed by the creature.
Are we nowhere? Is there no way of escape?
With 30 seconds remaining for the drift to happen, the creature will be upon us before then.
What if I shot a beam to the side to distract it? Is that possible? From our biggest guns.
An alternative potential would be to shut down all systems altogether and act as if we have no energy, thus hopefully causing the creature to lose interest in us and depart.
And make us harder to detect. Yes, I like it. Go, Kid. Go quiet.
It will, however, remove any option of us evading or taking any kind of action, Captain.
What if we turn up at the end of the maneuver? Like if I tried to do a flip and burn and then turned off everything.
One does not simply shut off a core.
We don't have a choice. He's going back to the planet for me and our deaths.
We won't have time. That thing closed on us way too quickly. We won't make it back to the planet.
I want someone to make me an intelligence check.
Don't ask me.
Shotgun.
18
Nope.
plus 3, 21.
19.
With a 21, 19. All right. You guys piece together the fact that turning off the power core means turning off many systems, chief among it being, of course, life support, which within the span of maybe an hour, without a power core at all, you would basically be dead in the water and there is no atmosphere. Now, those of you who have armor have a actual special suit, which will allow you to survive for a day without any atmosphere aboard your vessel. Now, your vessel is not without repair, but missing an engine, well, that's kind of a different matter. However, you can restore your communications, use some basic things to kind of piece things together. However, those of you who do not have suits within that hour will perish in a cold, hypothermic oblivion, which, apart from the Yosoki, will also include 24 children.
Yeah.
We are uncertain as to whether those children are still alive or not. The ship has taken several direct hits to the area where they were basically housed.
We have to.
Very true.
The core needs only be offline long enough for the creature to depart. Once it has left, we will reinitialize the core and hopefully save all of those aboard. Alternatively...
We don't have any more time. Make it so.
All right. Is it an engineering check to flick the switch?
It's not an on and on. It's like
it's
engage, disengage.
Turning off the core now. Core's off.
Well, well, luckily enough, thankfully, you have been aboard the ship that long enough that while there isn't a switch per se, there is in fact a large fuse that, should that fuse be removed from its housing, would very easily trigger the safety mechanism that would effectively turn it off. However, you suffer from one problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can make me an athletics or an acrobatics check to try and scaffold your way across the room towards where the fuse conduit is housed.
Inspire me, Captain.
And you can do it.
Is there any way I could assist by trying to roll the ship in a certain way?
Can I see this fuse, and if so, is it susceptible to the amount of pressure I can exert with a psychokinetic hand?
It is very susceptible to this, but similarly, as you were in fact rushing in this direction, so I can say that you and I was going to say Talawan. You and Kazan get there at the same time,
Okay.
and you realize that the airlock has been sealed, obviously due to the breach and explosive decompression. You're both standing outside of this door, One of you with a pair of breathing apparatus, and the other with, basically kung fu fighting fists.
19 on my acrobatics. I got this.
You manage to sort of get over to the fuse box, you crack it open, and you reach for the wire, and all of a sudden, all the power seems to cut simultaneously across the ship. You are floating now in a standardized direction, moving at half your speed as you drift without power. Now, with very little to do for everyone else's turn, I will give you guys an option to just take action.
I am Kazan.
Remember, there's no gravity. It's all artificial. All artificial decking is gone, so we're all floating.
Yep, let's go through the list of things that have just occurred. Number one is obviously, yes, as you've said, there is no gravity. You are now floating as you are now in an open space. Second is the temperature has taken a sizable spike downwards. So you are beginning to feel cold. Those of you who are paying particular amounts of attention, the stuff that was nailed down and kept down is to deal with the actual inertial dampeners that are aboard the ship. Without said inertial dampeners, and with no recollection of anyone cleaning the kitchen, there are floating knives and cutlery slowly making their way through the ship. The doors, however, no longer have power. Thus, they must be open and closed manually. The same thing can be said about the lights, which are now off. So those of you within the bowels of the ship are now in total darkness. I feel like I've gotten everything there. The only person who is not in total darkness is, of course, the Yosoki, who has the pleasure of looking at the wide expanse of space through the open window. Well, not open window, but,
I'm just going to get some fresh air.
I would hope not.
Wilhelm scream. Okay, so let us move through this out of initiative a little bit. So the two of you who are outside of the engine room, what do you wish to do?
I pull the torch that Ain gave me earlier in this escapade out of my pocket and switch it on.
I turn on the light from my comms bracelet.
Yep. Basically releases a little small cellular phone type light. Every 30 seconds you gotta jiggle it and put in your password.
Just as an aside, an out of game aside, at this point I need to sort of wrap it up fairly soon, I'm afraid.
Yep, we are approaching the end of the this
sorry
particular...
to say, but yeah.
No, it's perfectly fine. We are actually getting close to the end.
Bonza.
I see. We could try opening the door.
Through the comm, is the creature moving away?
Yeah, so I was going to get to, from the little cockpit, I presumably obviously we're stopped, the creature's more than likely, so I'm just going to keep an eye on what I can see from outside the windows, inside the windows.
Okay. You close the window, oh sorry, you sort of lean out the window, not lean out. Yeah.
What?
Press against the windows.
Thank you. Presses against the window to try and get an angle. You can actually see that the ship is in fact moving in your direction. Now, you were told or at least you heard over the comms that Dakar was mentioning that in fact there were drow that were doing stuff, blah, blah, blah. Drow are evil elves. However, you do not see drow out the window. Instead, you actually see a very familiar military outfit. This outfit, of course, belongs to the infamous Hell Knights. Law enforcers of absolute justice, or at least what they view as absolute justice within the sector.
Wait, I lost you.
Yep.
Didn't we have a giant stingray behind us, or is that actually a giant hell knight?
Riding atop the stingray appears to be a very small makeshift saddle that is attached to a tiny chariot.
Oh.
Which brands the symbol of the Hell Knights, specifically the Order of the Nail.
So turning off the engines would do nothing because this isn't a mindless beast. This is.
At least we didn't shoot at them.
It pulls up beside you as two individuals basically use rockets and begin to make their way over to your airlock.
Guys, it's not a. There's people coming. Rocket Man. We have Rocket Man coming.
What?
Reinitiating the core. I will begin startup procedures. This will take some time.
I don't know if there's any point, and we're not going to be able to outrun the giant fish thing.
No running. No
You
running.
would
Bring us to a stop. Power down the weapons.
The weapons are powered down, Captain. There is no power on the ship at all.
So
It's
life
slowly
support might
off.
be good.
Right. Well,
I can't leave my little room.
When the core comes back on, our weapons will be online. Switch them off.
All right, I
Over
start
your
initiating the
comm.
core.
All right.
Okay, the core begins to whir to life as over the comms. Crew of the Starswift. Permission to come aboard.
Captain of the Starswift here. Permission granted. We're a bit banged up, though. Mind how you go.
Understood. With that, shortly the airlock basically opens and receives the two individuals. And as they walk in, they sort of activate their mag boots, realizing that the gravity is, obviously now re-engaged. And as they step forward, you see them in their massive armor. And they say, "Captain, it is good to see you.
By the way, I'm just
Good to see you.
I am
Very
Arbiter.
good timing, in fact.
My name is Arbiter Jensen. I was familiar with some of the old members. At this point, he looks at Ein. And Ein recognizes this individual. While your memory is a little bit hazy about the fact, you remember that the previous captain, well, probably third or fourth back from the current one, actually was a good friend to the Hell Knights, specifically the Order of the
Nail.
The Nail. There was one particular member, a Squire Johnson, who actually was saved by your previous captain on a mission in which he ended up captured and left for dead by his Hell Knight companions. Your captain sacrificed life and limb in order to rescue him.
Johnson,
You recognize-
you are looking big.
I didn't expect to see you here. You don't look like you've aged a day.
A byproduct of surgery, I assure you.
Well, it is good to see you in such good health. I was concerned when I saw the Veskin warrior ship trying to attack this vessel.
Captain Marcus, might I introduce you to, I'm assuming no longer Squire Johnson?
Oh no, it is Arbiter Johnson now. I have received many promotions since my early days. Rather embarrassing debacle. And this is Lady Samus. She is my second.
Delighted to make your acquaintance. Do you like cocktails?
We don't drink on duty, I'm afraid.
All right.
Listen, I hate to impose, but we actually have a bit of an issue. There's a man aboard that is operating within Akiton, and we noticed that you left the city of Arl. He actually operated in Arl, and we were wondering what business you had there.
Captain, your comm appears to be off.
Oh dear, that bloody thing. Yes, well, it was supposedly a simple exercise to begin with. We were simply contracted to make a financial transaction on behalf of our client to clear some outstanding debts, in the process of which we ended up rescuing some slaves.
Slaves?
Yes.
Whoa, one moment. These wouldn't have been children by any chance.
Yes.
which I'm
We're
checking on
hoping
right
they're
now.
still alive. They're in cargo bay number 1.
Yeah, that was the first thing I went to go get.
Please, may we see them?
Of course. I was just on my way to check on them myself.
Okay, they basically want to rush, so they proceed very, very quickly. And as they do, they look around and they see a what appears to be a human boy. And they both kneel and they say, Young master, we found you. And one of this
Say
little
what
boy
now?
kind of confused. Johnson stands and says, may I present the young squire, young master, Johansson.
Oh,
Hello?
which
Nods at you. Now, as you know, I am of the Johanssons, but we are a member of a branch family. We are all very long-lived Hell Knights. The young master is actually the Lictor's son. Lictor, of course, for those of you who are aware of the Hell Knight regime, is the man in charge. He is basically Herr Führer, Herr Kommandant. He is the bigwig in charge of absolutely everything. And this is his son.
which if they're getting close to the kids, I'm gonna be standing protectively as close to them as I can.
Yes. How did you manage this?
Well, mostly by chance, really. A series of coincidences, and we just leapt. We couldn't, stand by when we saw miners in distress.
We will not let them have the children.
Quite, yes.
He sort of rises and he says, "Well, it is our duty to take the young master back to his father.
Excellent. Can you take all his friends too?
Of course, we will be more than happy to ensure that these children find either their home or a place to be. I must say, I am touched and honored to know that the Starswift is in such kind and compassionate hands."
It continues to be an error that plagues this vessel. I agree.
It isn't the most profitable of lines, but it is rewarding.
He says, "Well, I will ensure that others hear of this." And with that, he sort of begins to arrange to have the children board the vessel. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this rather extended one-shot, which took a very, very different turn to what I was expecting. But it was an awesome and incredible experience, and thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys had fun.
Oh, thank you. I had a great time.
It was a lot
Very
of fun.
much fun.
Yes.
Yep, I did too. I need to go back to bed.
I am also going to hit the hay. It is late / early / everything for everyone. So again, thank you guys for joining us for Starfinder. This, of course, is simply a one-shot, but if you are interested in the Starswift and its further adventures, be sure to be on the lookout for the Tales of the Starswift, which will be released at some point or another. which will have our entire crew there going into space, causing trouble, and of course doing everything they can to try and resist everything I throw at them. So, till next time, guys, keep your dice rolling and make sure your ideas stay mindworm free. See ya!
Bye.
Right.